The great council chamber of the Galactic Federation buzzed with worried voices. Hundreds of alien beings filled the massive room, their different shapes and colors creating a rainbow of worry. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Keon, a human woman with short black hair and tired eyes. She had been trying to solve this problem for 3 days now. "The situation is getting worse," Keon said, her voice carrying across the silent chamber. Behind her, a huge screen showed the star map of the void sector. Red warning symbols blinked everywhere like angry eyes. "The research ship Harmony of Knowledge has been missing for 3 cycles. We have lost all contact." The alien delegates shifted in their seats. Some made worried clicking sounds. Others glowed different colors to show their feelings. Everyone knew about the void sector. It was the most dangerous place in known space. "What makes this ship so important?" asked Commander Vextal of the Corvani Empire. His blue skin had dark patterns that moved when he was thinking hard. "Many ships are lost each year." Keon touched a control pad. The screen changed to show the inside of the missing ship. "The Harmony of Knowledge carries 30 years of research data from 12 different species. But more important, it has the only samples of element 447 we have ever found." A wave of gasps went through the chamber. Element 447 was like gold to space travelers. It could make faster than light travel possible for smaller ships. Right now, only the biggest and richest species could afford to travel between stars quickly. "Without those samples," Keon continued, "the smaller species in our Federation will never be able to build their own fast ships. They will always depend on others for travel." The chamber fell quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. The Federation worked because all species could work together as equals. If some species could not travel fast, they would become second-class members. "Where exactly is the ship?" asked High Christarch Zenith. Her crystal body rang like bells when she spoke. The Vorthak were known for being very careful and smart. "Here," Keon said, pointing to a spot on the map that glowed angry red, deep in the void sector, near the gravity storms of the Wandering Cluster. The reaction was immediate. Delegates began talking loudly to each other. Some stood up and started walking toward the exits. The Wandering Cluster was a group of dead stars that moved around in space like a pack of wild animals. The gravity there changed every few minutes. Space itself bent and twisted in ways that could crush a ship instantly. "Impossible," said Admiral Corthan of the Stellar Navy. His green scales turned pale. "No ship can survive in the Wandering Cluster. The gravity changes would tear apart any vessel we have. The cosmic storms there produce radiation that can melt our hulls," added High Christarch Zenith. Her crystal body had turned from blue to worried yellow. "Our ships are strong, but not that strong." "What about the radiation shields?" asked Keon, though she already knew the answer. "Not enough," replied Fleet Commander Yexnol of the gaseous Nilani. His cloud-like body swirled with dark colors. "The storms in that region produce radiation levels 50 times higher than anything our shields can handle. Our ships would be destroyed in minutes." One by one, the greatest military minds in the galaxy explained why the mission was impossible. The Corvani had the strongest warships, but even they could not handle the changing gravity. The Vorthak had the smartest navigation computers, but the numbers showed certain death. The Nilani could fly through gas clouds that would kill other species, but the void sector was beyond even their abilities. "So we just give up?" asked Keon. "We let the research in element 447 stay lost forever?" "Sometimes," said Commander Vextal sadly. "Even the Federation must accept that some things cannot be done." That was when Captain Dohyun spoke up from the back of the chamber. He had been sitting quietly with the other human delegates, listening to all the reasons why the mission was impossible. Now he stood up, his simple gray uniform very different from the fancy clothes worn by other species. "Did I hear this right?" Dohyun asked, walking toward the center of the chamber. His voice was calm and curious. "You need someone to fly into a region with dangerous gravity, cosmic storms, and high radiation to get a ship?" "Yes," said Keon, not sure where this was going. Dohyun looked around at all the worried alien faces. Then he shrugged his shoulders like someone had asked him to go to the store for milk. "That's it? That's the impossible mission?" The chamber went completely silent. Every alien stared at the human captain. His casual tone was shocking after hearing hours of explanations about certain death. "Captain," said High Christarch Zenith carefully, "perhaps you do not understand. The radiation levels would kill most organic life forms in minutes. The gravity changes would crush your ship like an egg. The cosmic storms create electrical fields that can tear apart metal. Right, said Do-hyun, nodding like he was taking notes. Radiation, gravity, storms. Got it. He turned to look at the other humans in the room. Sounds like a Tuesday, doesn't it? Commander Min-seok, sitting nearby, grinned. Maybe an exciting Tuesday. Pilot Yoonji flew through worse during the solar storm rescue last year, added Chief Engineer Hyejin from her seat. At least this time we won't have to worry about solar flares, too. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. Were the humans joking? Making fun of the situation? But Captain Do-hyun's face was serious. We'll take the job, Do-hyun said simply. Captain Do-hyun, said Ambassador Ki-yeon slowly. Are you sure you understand what you're volunteering for? A rescue mission in dangerous space, Do-hyun replied. We've done harder things. Remember the Europa Station rescue? That was during a solar storm, with half our navigation equipment broken, and we still made it back in time for dinner. Admiral Corthan's scales had turned completely white. Human, this is not your small solar system. This is the most dangerous region in known space. Every species here has technology far beyond yours, and none of us can survive it. Do-hyun smiled. It was not a mean smile, just confident. Well, that's the difference between us and you, Admiral. When you see impossible odds, you calculate failure. When we see impossible odds, we see a challenge. This is madness, whispered Commander Vextal. Maybe, said Do-hyun, but it's our kind of madness. He turned to face Ambassador Ki-yeon. How soon do you need us to leave? Ki-yeon looked around the chamber at all the shocked alien faces, then back at the calm human captain. As soon as possible. Every day we wait, the chances of finding survivors get smaller. Then we leave tomorrow morning, Do-hyun said. Human time. We'll be back by Thursday with your ship and your element 447. The captain turned and started walking toward the exit, followed by the other humans. As they reached the door, Engineer Hyejin called back to the stunned aliens. Don't worry about us. We'll bring back some souvenirs from the void sector. The door closed behind them, leaving hundreds of alien delegates sitting in shocked silence. High Christarch Zenith was the first to speak, her crystal body now pulsing worried red. They're going to get themselves killed. Probably, agreed Admiral Corthan. But what if they don't? While the alien delegates were still arguing about the impossible mission, the human fleet was already moving. Captain Do-hyun stood on the bridge of the UES Persistence, watching his crew prepare for departure. Unlike other species who spent weeks calculating every possible outcome, humans preferred to start working and figure things out as they went. Engineering report, Do-hyun called out. Chief Engineer Hyejin looked up from her console, a big smile on her face. She had been studying the mission data for only 2 hours, but she already looked excited instead of worried. Captain, this is going to be fun. The radiation levels remind me of the Jupiter mining operation, except we won't have to worry about the gas giant's magnetic field this time. Navigation Officer Jae-won turned around in his chair. I've been looking at the gravity patterns in the wandering cluster. It's like a 3-dimensional puzzle, but the pieces keep moving. Give me 6 more hours and I can plot us a course that uses the gravity wells as speed boosts instead of obstacles. See? Said Commander Min-seok from his station. I told you this would be like the Europa rescue, just with better coffee. The Europa Station rescue had become famous among humans, though no other species really understood why. 2 years ago, a mining station near Jupiter had lost power during a massive solar storm. The radiation levels were deadly, the magnetic fields were scrambled, and rescue ships kept getting lost in the chaos. Every computer model said rescue was impossible. The humans had ignored the computer models and gone anyway. They used the solar storm's own energy to power their ships, turned the magnetic chaos into a navigation aid, and brought everyone home safely. The alien observers had called it impossible luck. The humans called it Tuesday afternoon. What's our timeline? Asked pilot Yoonji from the helm. She was small and looked young, but she had flown through more dangerous situations than most alien pilots could imagine. During the solar storm rescue, she had piloted her ship through lightning fields that could have fried every circuit on board. We leave in 4 hours, Do-hyun replied. The Federation wants us to take our time and be careful. I told them we'd be back by Thursday. Thursday? Yoonji laughed. Captain, it's only Monday. Are we stopping for sightseeing on the way back? Medical Officer Soyeon walked onto the bridge carrying a cup of coffee and looking completely relaxed. I've been reading about the effects of void sector radiation on different species. It's really interesting. The Vorthak crystals crack under that much energy. The Nalani gas forms break apart, but according to these readings, it should just give humans a slight tan. What about the gravity changes? Asked communications specialist Jiwan. Oh, those, said Jaewon, still working on his calculations. Actually, they're going to help us. Instead of fighting the gravity wells, we ride them like waves. The wandering cluster moves in patterns. Chaotic patterns, but still patterns. I can predict where the strongest gravity wells will be and use them to slingshot us faster than any normal engine could push us. Engineer Heejin was practically bouncing in her chair with excitement. And the cosmic storms that everyone's so afraid of? They're going to supercharge our fusion reactors. All that free energy floating around. We'd be crazy not to use it. Captain Do-hyun listened to his crew turn every impossible danger into an advantage and felt proud. This was what made humans different. Where other species saw problems, humans saw opportunities. What about the other species? Asked Jiwon. They're probably watching us leave and thinking we're going to die. Let them think that, said Min Seok. Better to surprise them when we come back. The preparation continued at a speed that would have shocked the aliens. While other species needed weeks to plan a mission this dangerous, the humans were ready in hours. They didn't spend time worrying about what could go wrong. Instead, they figured out how to make things go right. Captain, said Hyojin over the communication system from the engine room. I've been thinking about the radiation shielding. Instead of trying to keep all the radiation out, what if we let some of it in? We can channel it directly into our power systems. The more dangerous the radiation gets, the faster we'll be able to travel. Won't that cook us? Asked Soyeon. Not if we're smart about it, Heejin replied. I can set up magnetic channels to direct the radiation where we want it and keep it away from the crew areas. It's like building a lightning rod except for cosmic radiation. Pilot Yoonji was studying the sensor readings of the void sector. You know what this reminds me of? Flying through a thunderstorm back on Earth. Lots of wind, lots of lightning, lots of turbulence. But if you know what you're doing, you can use all that energy to help you go faster. Except this thunderstorm is in space and could vaporize our ship, pointed out Jiwon. Details, Yoonji said with a grin. Navigator Jaewon finally looked up from his calculations. Got it. I can get us to the harmony of knowledge in 18 hours instead of the 3 days everyone thinks it will take. We use the gravity wells as boosts, ride the cosmic storms like a surfer rides waves, and let the radiation charge our engines. 18 hours? Asked Do-hyun. That fast? Maybe 16 if the storms are really strong, Jaewon replied. The worse the conditions get, the faster we can travel. Commander Min Seok shook his head in amazement. No wonder the aliens think we're crazy. We're planning to use everything that could kill us to help us succeed. That's the human way, said Captain Do-hyun. Turn problems into solutions. The final preparations were almost complete when Ambassador Ki-yeon contacted the ship. Her face appeared on the main screen, looking worried and tired. Captain Do-hyun, I have to ask one more time. Are you absolutely sure about this? The Federation Council is having emergency meetings. Half of them think you're heroes and the other half think you're committing suicide. What do you think, Ambassador? Do-hyun asked. Ki-yeon was quiet for a moment. I think if anyone can do this impossible mission, it's humans. But I also think the odds are terrible. Good thing we don't believe in odds, said Pilot Yoonji from her station. We believe in skill, teamwork, and coffee, added Engineer Heejin. Mostly coffee, said Medical Officer Soyeon. Raising her cup, Ambassador Ki-yeon almost smiled. Just try to come back alive, okay? The Federation needs humans who are willing to try impossible things. We'll be back Thursday, Captain Do-hyun promised. Maybe Wednesday if the cosmic storms are particularly helpful. The communication ended, and Do-hyun turned to his crew. These 7 people were about to attempt something that the combined military, might of dozens of advanced alien civilizations, had declared impossible. They should have been scared. Instead, they looked excited. Final systems check, ordered Do-hyun. Navigation ready, called Jaewon. I've got 17 different routes plotted depending on which gravity wells are strongest when we arrive. Engineering ready, reported Hyojin. Engines are running smooth. Radiation channels are prepared. And I've got backup plans for the backup plans. Pilot ready, said Yoonji. I've been practicing difficult maneuvers in the simulator. This should be interesting. Communications. Ready? Confirmed Jiwon. I've prepared messages in 12 different alien languages in case we need to talk to the survivors. Medical ready, announced Soyeon. I've got treatments prepared for every type of radiation exposure known to science plus some experimental ones just in case. Tactical ready, stated Min Seok. If anything tries to stop us, we'll be ready. Captain Do-yoon looked around at his crew one more time. All right, people. Let's go show the galaxy how humans handle impossible missions. The UES Persistence began moving toward the edge of Federation space, heading for the most dangerous region known to exist. Behind them, the alien delegates were still arguing about whether the mission could possibly succeed. Ahead of them lay the void sector, where space itself was broken and deadly. Any sane species would turn around and go home. But as Engineer Heejin said while checking her equipment one last time, good thing nobody ever accused humans of being sane. The moment the UES Persistence crossed into the void sector, reality went crazy. Captain Do-yoon stood on the bridge watching the main screen as space twisted around them like melted glass. Stars bent into impossible curves, gravity pulled in 3 different directions at once, and cosmic lightning turned the empty void into a deadly fireworks show. Well, said pilot Yoonji, her hands steady on the controls despite the ship shaking around them, this is definitely more exciting than Earth traffic. The radiation detectors were screaming warnings, but Chief Engineer Heejin was laughing in the engine room. Captain, you need to see this. The cosmic radiation is feeding directly into our fusion reactors. We're running at 110% normal power output. At this rate, we'll have enough energy to power a small city. Navigator Jaewon was in his element, watching the chaotic gravity patterns like a child watching fireworks. The gravity wells are moving exactly like I predicted, just faster. We can use them like a giant slingshot. Each one will boost our speed by about 20%. How are our shields holding up? Asked Commander Min Seok. What shields? Replied Hyejin cheerfully. I redirected all that power to the engines and navigation systems. We're using the magnetic fields from the cosmic storms as our protection instead. Medical Officer Soyeon looked up from her readings with genuine surprise. The radiation levels out there would kill most alien species in minutes, but our cellular structure is actually handling it fine. We might get a slight energy boost from it, like drinking too much coffee. Communications Specialist Jiwon was monitoring Federation channels. Captain, I'm picking up some interesting chatter. The aliens are tracking our progress and they can't believe we're still alive. One Vorthak scientist just said our survival is mathematically impossible. Good thing math was never my best subject, said Captain Do-yoon, watching another gravity wave roll past them like a giant invisible ocean wave. The deeper they went into the void sector, the worse conditions became. Cosmic storms that could tear apart planets crackled around them. Gravity fields strong enough to crush diamonds pulled at their ship from every direction. The background radiation climbed to levels that should have cooked them all. But the humans kept flying forward, treating each new danger like an interesting puzzle to solve. Gravity wave incoming from the port side, called Jaewon. It's a big one. Should hit us in 30 seconds. Can we ride it? Asked Yoonji. Better than that. We can surf it directly toward our target. Hold on, everyone. The wave hit the Persistence like an invisible tsunami. Any normal ship would have been crushed instantly. Instead, Yoonji angled their flight path to catch the wave's energy, and Hyejin channeled the gravitational force into their engines. The ship accelerated so fast that the crew felt pressed into their seats. Woo! Shouted Yoonji as they rocketed forward. That's what I'm talking about. How long until the next one? 2 minutes, replied Jaewon, grinning. And it's even bigger. The ship's computer systems were having trouble keeping up with all the conflicting data. Warning lights flashed constantly and alarms beeped every few seconds. But the crew had turned off most of the safety systems anyway. They were flying by instinct and experience now. Captain, said Jiwon, I'm getting a weak signal. It might be the harmony of knowledge. Everyone on the bridge went quiet. After all the excitement of flying through impossible conditions, they remembered why they were here. Somewhere in this chaos was a ship full of alien researchers who had been trapped for 3 days. Can you clean up the signal? Asked Do-hyun. Working on it. Jiwon's fingers moved quickly over her controls. The cosmic interference is terrible, but there, I've got them. A weak voice came through the speakers, speaking in the crystal-like language of the Vorthak. Jiwon translated. This is Research Vessel Harmony of Knowledge. We are trapped in a gravity well near the Wandering Cluster. Our engines are damaged and our hull is being slowly crushed. If anyone receives this message, please tell our families we tried our best. The bridge crew exchanged looks. They had found the missing ship, but it sounded like the aliens had given up hope. "Send them a reply," ordered Captain Do-hyun. "This is UES Persistence responding to Harmony of Knowledge. We are on our way to extract you. Estimate arrival in 40 minutes. Prepare for rescue operations." There was a long pause before the reply came back. The Vorthak captain sounded confused and frightened. "U.S. Persistence, you cannot be here. This region is impassable. No ship can survive the conditions." "Yeah, we get that a lot," replied Ji-won. "Just hold tight. We're almost there." Navigator J1 was studying the sensor readings of their target location. Found them. They're caught in a gravity well about 3 times stronger than Earth's sun. The gravitational forces are slowly tearing their ship apart. "How do we get them out?" asked Min-seok. "Carefully," said Yoonji. "And probably upside down." Engineer Hyejin was already working on the problem. "We can't fight a gravity well that strong directly, but we can use the other gravity sources around it to create a gravitational tug-of-war. If we position ourselves correctly, we can gradually pull them free." "Won't that put us in danger too?" asked Soyeon. "Probably," admitted Hyejin. "But that's what makes it interesting. The plan they came up with would have terrified any sane engineer. They would fly into the gravity well, attach magnetic grapples to the research ship, and then use the chaotic gravitational forces of the void sector to pull both ships to safety. It was like trying to escape from quicksand by grabbing onto a tornado." "There," said Jae-won, pointing at the main screen. "I can see them." The Harmony of Knowledge was a beautiful ship, or had been before 3 days in the gravity well. Its crystal hull was cracked in several places, and it was slowly spinning as gravitational forces pulled it in different directions. It looked like a broken toy caught in an invisible whirlpool. "Poor ship," said Yoonji. "Don't worry, we'll get you out of there." "Open a channel to them," ordered Do-hyun. The face of the Vorthak captain appeared on their screen. His crystal features were dim with fear and exhaustion. Behind him, other alien crew members could be seen working frantically at damaged control stations. "Human vessel," the captain said, his voice shaking. "You must leave immediately. Our calculations show that any rescue attempt has 0% chance of success. You will only die with us." "Captain," replied Do-hyun calmly, "we appreciate your concern, but humans don't really do math the same way you do. We prefer to try things and see what happens." "This is impossible," the alien captain insisted. "The gravitational forces are too strong. The cosmic radiation will kill you. The structural stress will tear your ship apart." "Maybe," said Captain Do-hyun, "but maybe not. Either way, we're going to find out. Prepare for extraction." Behind the alien captain, other crew members were staring at the human ship in amazement. One of them, a gaseous Nilani researcher, floated closer to the screen. "How are you even alive out there?" the Nilani asked. "Our sensors show radiation levels that should have killed any organic life." Medical Officer Soyeon leaned into view. "Oh, that. Yeah, the radiation is pretty intense, but we're handling it fine. Actually, I think it's giving me more energy. I feel great." The aliens looked at each other in disbelief. The humans were not just surviving in conditions that would kill anyone else. They were actually thriving. "Beginning rescue approach," announced pilot Yoonji. "Everyone hold on. This is going to get bumpy." The Persistence began moving toward the trapped research vessel, fighting against gravitational forces that tried to crush them with every meter. But Yoonji flew like she was born in space, using each gravity field to help instead of hinder their progress. "Magnetic grapples ready," reported Engineer Hyejin. "I've configured them to work with the gravitational distortion. Once we attach to their ship, we become one system instead of two." "How do we get out of the gravity well once we're attached?" asked the Vorthak captain over the communication link. "We don't fight it," explained Navigator Jae-won. "We use it. There's a massive gravitational wave coming through in about 6 minutes. If we time it right, we can ride that wave right out of here. That wave will destroy both our ships," protested the alien captain. "Not if we're smart about it," said Captain Do-hyun. "Trust us. We've done crazier things." The rescue was about to begin, and everyone could feel the tension building. They were about to attempt something that violated every law of physics and common sense. But as Engineer Hyejin said while making final preparations, if it was easy, they wouldn't have called us. What happened next would be talked about in alien military academies for generations to come. Pilot Yoonji brought the UES Persistence into the gravity well like she was parking a car. Except the parking space was trying to crush her ship, and the car was being pulled in 6 different directions by invisible forces. Approaching magnetic grapple range, Yunji called out, her voice steady despite the ship shaking around them. The gravity distortion is actually helping us. It's like flying downhill. How is flying into a death trap like flying downhill? Asked the Vorthak captain over the communication link. His crystal face was glowing with panic as he watched the human ship approach. You have to feel it instead of thinking about it, Yunji replied. Math will tell you this is impossible. But sometimes impossible is just another word for, no one has tried it the right way yet. Engineer Heejin was monitoring the magnetic grapple systems from her station. Captain, I'm reading massive structural stress on the research vessel. Their hull is cracking in 17 different places. We need to get them out of here fast. How fast? Asked Captain Do-hyun. Very fast. Like in the next 10 minutes before their ship breaks apart fast. Navigator Jaewon was tracking the massive gravitational wave approaching their position. The big wave will be here in 4 minutes. If we can attach to them and be ready to ride it out, we can escape the gravity well using the wave's own energy. And if we're not ready? Asked communications specialist Ji-won. Then we all become very flat pancakes, replied Jaewon cheerfully. Medical officer Soyeon was treating this like any other emergency. I've prepared emergency medical supplies for both humans and aliens. Though honestly, if this goes wrong, medical supplies won't help much. The alien crew of the Harmony of Knowledge watched in amazement as the human ship maneuvered through conditions that should have been instantly fatal. The cosmic radiation around them was so intense it was visible as sheets of glowing energy. The gravity fields were pulling in so many directions that space itself looked twisted. How are they doing this? Whispered a Corvani engineer on the research ship. Our computers say what they're doing is physically impossible. Humans don't seem to care what computers say, replied the Vorthak captain, watching Yunji thread their ship between gravity fields like a needle through fabric. Grapple range in 30 seconds, announced Yunji. Their ship is spinning pretty fast. I'll need to match their rotation exactly or the magnetic clamps won't hold. Can you do it? Asked Commander Minseok. Please. I once landed a shuttle in a hurricane on Europa, while half the navigation system was broken. This is just a spinning ship in a gravity well. Easy. The approach was anything but easy. The Harmony of Knowledge was tumbling through the gravity well like a leaf in a tornado, spinning in 3 dimensions at once. Any normal pilot would have given up immediately, but Yunja watched the chaotic movement and saw patterns. There, she said, making tiny adjustments to their flight path. They're not spinning randomly. The gravity well is making them rotate in a predictable pattern. I just need to match the pattern. The 2 ships came together in a dance that defied physics. Yunja matched the research vessel's complex rotation perfectly, flying in formation with a ship that was tumbling out of control. To the aliens watching, it looked like magic. Magnetic grapples deploying, reported Hyejin. Contact in 3, 2, 1. Got them! The moment the magnetic clamps attached, both ships became one system. The spinning slowed down as the Persistence's stabilizers took control. But they were still trapped in the gravity well, and the massive gravitational wave was getting closer. 2 minutes until the wave hits, called Jaewon. I'm calculating our escape trajectory now. Human vessel, said the Vorthak captain urgently. You must detach and save yourselves. Our ship is too damaged. The gravity wave will destroy us both. Not going to happen, replied Captain Do-hyun firmly. We came here to rescue you, and that's what we're going to do. But the wave will crush both ships. Only if we fight it, said Yunja, preparing for the most dangerous part of the rescue. But we're not going to fight it. We're going to surf it. The plan was insane by any reasonable standard. Instead of trying to escape before the gravity wave arrived, they were going to wait for it and use its incredible force to catapult both ships out of the gravity well. It was like trying to escape from a flood by riding the biggest wave. Wave approaching, announced Jaewon. It's even bigger than I calculated. This thing could move a moon. Perfect, said Yunja. The bigger the wave, the faster we go. Engineer Hyejin was making last-minute adjustments to their engines. I've linked our power systems to the research vessel's emergency systems. When the wave hits, I'll channel all the gravitational energy into both ships' engines. We'll either go very fast or explode very spectacularly. I vote for very fast, said Medical Officer Soyeon. The wave hit them like the fist of an angry god. The gravitational force was so strong that it should have crushed both ships instantly. Instead, Yunja angled their combined trajectory to catch the wave's energy, while Hyejin used the gravitational force to supercharge their engines. For a few seconds, The two ships rode the edge of destruction. The gravity wave accelerated them to speeds that no normal ship could survive. Warning alarms screamed as their hulls creaked under the stress, but Yunja kept them balanced on the knife's edge between success and disaster. "We're doing it," shouted Jaewon over the noise. "We're actually surfing a gravity wave." The alien crew of the research vessel couldn't believe what was happening. They were flying through space faster than their ship had ever moved, propelled by the same force that had trapped them. The human ship was still attached to them, somehow keeping both vessels stable despite the incredible acceleration. "How are they controlling this?" asked the Corvani engineer, watching his instruments register impossible readings. "I don't think they are controlling it," replied the Vorthak captain in amazement. "I think they're just going along with it." The ride lasted for 3 minutes that felt like 3 hours. When the gravity wave finally passed, both ships found themselves in clear space, far from the dangerous gravity wells of the wandering cluster. "Status report," called Captain Do-hyun. "All systems green," replied Hye-jin. "Actually, better than green. That gravity wave charged our engines so much that we have enough power for a month. Navigation is perfect," added Jaewon. "We're exactly where I calculated we'd be, just about 2 hours ahead of schedule." "The research vessel's hull damage has actually improved," reported Soyeon, scanning the attached ship. "The gravitational forces somehow helped seal some of their cracks." Pilot Yunja stretched in her chair like someone who had just finished a pleasant drive. "That was fun. Can we do it again?" The communication channel crackled to life with voices from the research vessel. The Vorthak captain sounded like he was in shock. "Human vessel? What just happened? How are we alive?" "Standard rescue procedure," replied Captain Do-hyun casually. "We use the dangerous conditions to help us instead of fighting against them." "Standard procedure?" The alien captain's voice climbed higher. "You just rode a gravity wave that could have destroyed a planet." "Yeah, that was the exciting part," said Yunja. "Though I have to admit, for a few seconds there I wasn't sure if we were going to make it, or become part of the void sector's background radiation." "A few seconds?" echoed the Corvani engineer. "You weren't sure for only a few seconds?" "Well, maybe a few minutes," admitted Yunja. "But uncertainty keeps life interesting." Commander Min Seok was checking their tactical sensors. "All clear around us. No more gravity wells, no more cosmic storms. Just normal, boring space." "Boring space is good," said Medical Officer Soyeon. "I've finished scanning the research vessel's crew. They're all alive and healthy, just shaken up. A few cases of stress-related crystal dimming among the Vorthak, but nothing serious." "How long until we reach Federation space?" asked the Vorthak captain. "About 6 hours at normal speed," replied Navigator Jaewon. "But since we're charged up from that gravity wave, we can probably make it in 4. 4 hours, repeated the alien captain slowly. "We've been trapped for 3 days and you're getting us home in 4 hours. Could be 3 hours if we hit any more cosmic storms on the way back," said Engineer Hee-jin helpfully. Free energy is free energy. As the two ships flew toward Federation space, the rescued aliens kept asking questions about how the humans had made the impossible rescue look so easy. The answers they got didn't make them feel any less amazed. "How did you learn to fly like that?" the Corvani engineer asked Yunja. "Practice," she replied. "Also, I used to race shuttles through asteroid fields for fun. After that, everything else seems easy." "How did you calculate the gravity wave trajectory?" a Nilani scientist asked Jaewon. "I didn't exactly," Jaewon admitted. "I just looked at the patterns and guessed where they would go next. Sometimes intuition works better than math." "How are you so calm about nearly dying?" asked a young Vorthak researcher. "Nearly dying?" said Captain Do-hyun, sounding genuinely confused. "When were we nearly dying?" The aliens realized that to the humans this had all been just another day at work, what they considered a miracle. The humans called Tuesday afternoon. The return to Federation space was like a parade that nobody had planned. As the UES Persistence approached the main station with the rescued Harmony of Knowledge still attached, every ship in the area came out to watch. The impossible had happened and everyone wanted to see it with their own eyes. "This is Federation control to UES Persistence," came the voice over the communication system. "Please confirm your status. Sensors show you have successfully recovered the research vessel." "Confirmed," replied Captain Do-hyun from his captain's chair. "Harmony of Knowledge recovered with all crew alive and healthy. Mission complete." There was a long pause from Federation control. Captain, our records show you departed only 18 hours ago. The estimated mission time was 3 to 7 days, assuming survival was possible. Yeah, well, said Pilot Yunja, we took the express route. Navigator Jaewon was already calculating their approach to the space station. The cosmic storms we flew through supercharged our engines. We're actually running ahead of schedule for everything this week. Chief Engineer Hyejin's voice came over the ship's communication system from the engine room. Captain, I'm reading our power levels and we have enough energy stored from that gravity wave to run the ship for 6 months. Plus, the radiation exposure seems to have improved our fusion reactor efficiency by about 15%. Improved? Asked Federation Control, clearly confused. The cosmic radiation optimized our power systems, explained Hyejin cheerfully. It's like the difference between regular fuel and premium fuel. Everything runs better now. Medical Officer Soyeon was finishing her final scans of both crews. No injuries to report. The human crew is actually in better health than when we left, probably from the low-level radiation exposure. The alien crew members are recovering well from their ordeal, though they're still in shock. In shock from their rescue experience? Asked Federation Control. In shock from watching humans do impossible things, clarified Communications Specialist Jiwon. I think they're having trouble processing what they just witnessed. The space station was buzzing with activity as word spread that the humans had actually succeeded. Ships from dozens of different species had gathered to see the return of the impossible mission. The main communication channels were filled with excited chatter in 20 different languages, requesting permission to dock, said Captain Do-hyun. Permission granted, replied Federation Control. Bay 7 has been cleared for your arrival. The Federation Council is waiting to debrief you. Already? Asked Commander Min-seok. We just got back. Captain, half the galaxy has been watching your mission progress. When you survived entering the Void Sector, it made headlines. When you actually rescued the research vessel, it broke every communication network in Federation space. As they approached the docking bay, Pilot Yunja noticed something unusual. Captain, there are a lot of ships out there. I count vessels from at least 30 different species. They're all here to see us? Asked Jiwon. Apparently, word travels fast when humans do something that's supposed to be impossible, replied Captain Do-hyun. The docking process was smooth and routine, which seemed to surprise the watching alien ships. After everything they had accomplished, the humans handled the simple task of parking their ship like it was the most normal thing in the world. UES persistence is secure, announced Yonja. All systems nominal. The Harmony of Knowledge is also safely docked. Their crew is ready for medical evaluation and debriefing. Admiral Taehoon was waiting for them at the airlock. He was the senior human representative to the Federation, and even he looked amazed by what his people had accomplished. Captain Do-hyun, he said as the crew emerged from their ship. I have to ask, how do you feel about completing a mission that every expert in the galaxy said was impossible? Captain Do-hyun thought about it for a moment, then shrugged. Honestly, Admiral, I keep waiting for someone to tell us what the hard part was supposed to be. The crew walked through the station corridors toward the debriefing room, and everywhere they went, aliens stopped to stare. Vorthak crystals glowed with amazement. Corvani scales shifted colors rapidly. Nilani gas clouds swirled with excitement. The humans had become celebrities without trying. This is weird, said Medical Officer Soyeon quietly. They're looking at us like we're heroes or something, aren't we? Asked Engineer Hyejin. We did just save 30 researchers and recover element 447. Yeah, but it wasn't that hard, replied Pilot Yunja. I've had more trouble parallel parking. The debriefing room was packed with alien officials, military commanders, and scientists. At the head of the table sat the Federation Council, representing all the major species. They looked like they were still having trouble believing what had happened. Captain Do-hyun began High Kristarg Zenith of the Vorthak, her crystal body glowing a respectful blue. Please describe your mission for the record. Standard rescue operation, replied Captain Do-hyun. We flew to the Void Sector, located the missing research vessel, extracted them from a gravity well, and returned to Federation space. Total mission time was 17 hours and 43 minutes. Standard? Asked Admiral Corthan of the Stellar Navy. His green scales were pale with disbelief. Captain, you flew through conditions that our best computers said would kill any known ship design. Maybe. Your computers need an update. suggested Navigator Jawan helpfully. How? Did you survive the cosmic radiation? Asked a Nalani scientist. We used it to power our engines, replied Engineer Heejin. Why fight it when you can use it? How did you navigate through the gravitational anomalies? Pressed a Corvani engineer. We rode them like waves, said pilot Yunja. It's actually pretty fun once you get the hang of it. How did you extract the research vessel from a gravity well that strong? Demanded a Vorthak military commander. We used a bigger gravity well to pull them out, explained Navigator Jawan. It's like using a river to escape from a pond. The alien officials looked at each other in confusion. Every answer the humans gave made their success sound routine and simple. But everyone in the room knew that what they had done was extraordinary. Captain, said Commander Vextal of the Corvani Empire slowly, do you understand that what you accomplished has never been done before? The void sector has been considered impassable for over 1,000 years. Well, said Captain Dohyun, nobody ever asked humans to try it before. High Christarch Zineth leaned forward. What would you say to those who claim your success was just luck? I'd say luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, replied Commander Minsuk. We prepared for everything we could think of, and when opportunities came up, we took them. Even the opportunity to surf a gravity wave? Asked Admiral Korthon. Especially that one, said Pilot Yunja with a grin. That was the best part. The rescued alien crew members were invited to give their testimony. The Vorthak captain still looked dazed as he spoke. The humans flew through conditions that should have destroyed them instantly, he said. They used the cosmic storms as fuel, the radiation as energy, and the gravity wells as shortcuts. They turned every danger into an advantage. Was there any point where you thought the rescue would fail? Asked a Federation official. The Vorthak captain looked at the human crew. I thought it would fail from the moment they arrived. But they never seemed worried about failing. They acted like success was inevitable. Because it was, said Captain Dohyun simply. We came to get you, so we were going to get you. The universe just had to figure out how to cooperate. Admiral Tehun stood up to give his official report. Mission accomplished with 0 casualties and minimal equipment damage. The research vessel Harmony of Knowledge has been recovered with all 30 crew members alive and healthy. The Element 447 samples are secure and undamaged. Total mission cost was significantly under budget due to the cosmic energy collected during the operation. Under budget? Asked High Christarch Zineth. The cosmic radiation and gravity waves provided so much free energy that we actually came back with more power than we left with, explained Engineer Hyejin. It's like getting paid to go on a rescue mission. The Federation Council sat in stunned silence for a moment. Finally, Commander Vextal spoke up. How do we explain this to the rest of the galaxy? How do we tell them that humans made the impossible look easy? Tell them the truth, suggested Captain Dohyun. When everyone else sees problems, humans see puzzles. When everyone else calculates failure, humans calculate possibilities. And when everyone else says something can't be done, humans say, watch this. As the debriefing ended and the crew prepared to leave, High Christarch Zineth had one final question. Captain Dohyun, what will you do next? The captain looked at his crew, all of whom were grinning with the satisfaction of a job well done. I don't know, he said honestly. What else does the galaxy have that's supposed to be impossible? Engineer Heejin was already looking at mission reports on her tablet. There's a request here for someone to explore the Phantom Nebula. Apparently, it eats spaceships. Eats spaceships? Asked Pilot Yunja with interest. That sounds fun. Also, added Navigator Jawan, reading over her shoulder, there's a diplomatic mission to make contact with a species that lives inside a black hole's event horizon. Inside a black hole? Said Medical Officer Soyeon. Now that's interesting.